Huge round of applause, rapturous round of applause there for us. I just before we do anything,
I hope you're going to share that with me now. I see you didn't bring me in one.
Isn't there just something about the first sip?
I wouldn't know. I don't have one. You didn't bring one for me. Come on, let's get this show on the road.
I've got to say, that's just beautiful. Which leads me smoothly into the fact that we have a sponsor for the show. I can't believe we got a sponsor so early on, and this is something I'm really excited about because anytime I have cola, I have bar cola. It's like you're talking 0 fats, 0 saturates. Shots. 0 fats and 0 shots.
That's what you get for messing.
Bar cola.
Right, let's get on with the show. There's Belle. Can you see Belle?
Yeah. You can see a little bit of her.
Look,
she and I on the 2 shot. Yeah, she's obviously wanted to be a part of the show this week.
She did.
She was really excited, and you can see the excitement is palpable from her.
Speaking of excitement,
yes,
the show tonight.
Great show lined up.
We do.
Great show lined up. So, do you want to talk us through some of the features we have coming up in the show?
Well, we've got our best of the web.
Yeah.
We've got some really good best of the web ones. So I'm really excited to show them. We're going to do a Mr. and Mrs. challenge, hopefully, if we have time at the end of the show.
Yep.
So I just pulled questions from the internet and haven't had a chance to even think about them. I don't think you've even seen them. And you put something up on your Instagram. So at actually Killian, if you want to go over.
Yeah, do you know what I'm noticing is happening on Instagram now? When you put up that things in your story and you're like, oh, ask me questions.
Yeah.
The robots have taken over and I'm
That
getting
must be
all
the
these
new
spam
thing,
bots,
is it?
of like, oh, hey, love your page. Why not click through to my horoscopes page? And like, oh, here, unless they're genuine fans, in which case, thanks. But no, yeah, the new robots, that's what's taken over the world.
It is.
And our guest.
Yes.
Do you want to tell anybody the guest?
It's a surprise. I'm
yeah, so it's not a surprise, we can tell you. Our guest is Andy Cavanagh from Key West, the lead singer in Key West, and we have loved the band for years.
Yeah,
we've
been going to their gigs for ages.
We've literally seen them play everywhere from
Actually,
Grafton
funny
Street
story
to the Olympia.
Some of the guys that are in Key West used to be in a different band, and I was actually in their music video.
And it is...
That's hidden forever. It's gone off the internet. It's that bad.
It is hidden forever, and I would love... I haven't seen it, but I would love nothing more than to watch... What age were you at the time? Like
I would have been, early 20s, I'd say.
Early 20s, thinking you were too
over
hot
a decade
to handle.
ago.
Ooh, oh, please.
Good
We've
times.
got it. Yeah, Mark, if you're watching this, please dig that video out from the
No,
archives.
he's in it. He'll keep it closed.
I'll tell you what, I'll make an agreement. I'll blur your face if you want, just so we can see Debbie being sexy Deb. But the Key West guys have done something absolutely incredible, and there's a lot of different charities. I know Benetti Menswear as well are doing. They're doing huge big fundraisers. I think they themselves kicked in about 10 grand to the kitty to buy PPE for frontline workers. But the Key West guys teamed up with Doug Ledden and a lady called Mary Leahy, and they have Heroes Aid, and there's a website and a GoFundMe page and everything else. But the Key West lads do what they do best. They wrote a song, they made a music video. It is doing incredibly well for them. We have a little snippet for you here.
You're just an everyday, ordinary superhero. Life isn't fair and there's no one to blame. You're just an everyday, ordinary superhero. And I know you're scared, but you act like you're brave. You're just an everyday, ordinary superhero. Life isn't fair and there's no one to blame. You're just an everyday, ordinary superhero. You're scared, but you act like you're brave.
It is really one of those things that, like, it's like total true. These people are like the superheroes on the front line, who are, even a friend of mine, Regina, I knew her as Regina Burke, but Regina Ryan, she in our WhatsApp group put in a picture of her. She's like, just in work, and she's like, it looks like she's in a movie, because she's the eyepiece on, the mouthpiece, the gloves, and it's like, yeah, these people every day, like, I'm paranoid going down to Super Value. I'm like don't touch anything, disinfecting and everything, and that's just like normal people going to the shop. These people are working in these environments, whether it's ambulance workers or like all the frontline workers. It's it really is. So they're raising money, and the amount that they're up to is over 133,000 euros.
So incredible. It's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
So amazing.
It's so cool. So we're going to be chatting with Andy later on the show, just about that whole, how it came about, and also maybe some future plans for Key West, because I know the guys they're just they're incredible. We've seen them live, and their live shows always progress and always progress. And the last time we caught them live, they introduced this new segment of drums.
That was incredible. That was such an amazing show.
Absolutely amazing. So we love the lads, and when we reached out to Andy, and he was like, yeah, happy to do it. So delighted he's going to be coming on. I'm going to phone him in later on into the show. So in the meantime, we still don't have a jingle or anything for
Best of the best. Sorted. That's it. You should learn something on the keyboard first.
All right, for starters, it's best of the web.
Oh yeah.
So if I'm going to learn something, the least you could do is learn the name of the segment.
And I gave it socks and everything.
You really did. That's honestly, I was impressed more so with your socks giving ability. So anyway, best of the
web.
We could try this again. Best of the web this week, brought to you by Bar Cola. Cool, refreshing Bar Cola.
Right, let's get on with it.
Okay, yeah. So hang on. You're always chasing the first sip at the can, though, aren't you? Every sip after that's just not as good. It's like
I was hoping my lipstick would have gotten on your lips there because it was on the can.
Oh, a little bit of lippy.
Yeah, but it didn't.
Anyway,
let's get on with it.
Right, first up, this is something that when I saw this, it's an Instagram page called like Aviation Interiors or something. The name will come up on the screen in a second. And they were having a conversation about what's airplane travel going to look like going forward, because obviously now there's early talks of businesses reopening and say salons reopening, all these places reopening with personal protective gear, so you have the headgear and all this, and it's all about keeping that distance and having perspex between you and other clients and all that. So how would airplane flight look like that? Because businessmen, businesswomen travel and people, when we're eventually allowed to go back on holidays, are going to be chomping at the bit to do so, but obviously still in a safe environment. And I saw this, and it's really kind of interesting, actually. So one of the suggestions is that they invert the middle chairs.
And then create like a perspex
and
block
perspex kind of goes in around them. So it actually doesn't take up any more room. So you get the same amount of people in the plane, which obviously for the airlines, they're going to want that. That's one option. And that's what it kind of looks like. On the other end, you can see the perspex bit a little bit better there, which would be a bit crap if you're going away with your partner and you're like, I'll see you in 2 hours, love, you know? And then also
this might like that.
This was another option where they have these, like, it's almost like with the old telephone booths, you know, they come up over and they've got that personal protective gear, which if they're sturdy, that could be perfect for a little bit of a nod off. You know, you could just rest your head up against it. So it's interesting to see that, you know, there are these solutions that people are trying to work on, and they're trying to come up with, you know, different ways that we can still have what is a normal life, you know, in the presence of the pandemic. So moving on from that, one of a good friend of mine, Alex, his wife is just like, I love Alex, funny. Right? But I prefer his wife. I prefer Lisa because she's just so funny. She's just a tonic, honestly she is. But her Instagram is a curation of her own funny quirks, but then also like she comes across, I don't know where she gets these memes and videos, and it's just hilarious. And this one, when we saw it
was like so funny,
cracking up. She said, "This is me exercising my way back to the refrigerator for another snack." It's just honestly like it's so good. So give Lisa a follow actually on social media. You'll be happy you do.
She'll make you smile.
She draws as well, and the stuff that she does these incredible illustrations as well. So she's got a whole other Instagram for that, and they're real funny as well. So yeah, check her out online. But this, speaking of funny, well, it starts off that it's not funny, right? So first off, there was the march in America, because, you know, Americans love their freedom. And the thing I find so ironic about the sort of people who are like marching the streets, they want to get back out there, right, and face this pandemic and all this. Somebody made this point that these are the same people who've been hoarding all these food, getting their guns, building bunkers in their houses, because if something happens in the world, I'm gonna hunker down and I'm gonna protect my family. And then like as soon as something happens, they're like, I want to get out of my house. I want to like they just anyway. We won't get into that side of things.
No,
but
like
there was I know, yeah, you don't do well. You can't even entertain the notion of it. So there was this March for Freedom, right? that these people were, they wanted to basically do a blockade on the streets. Not exactly sure which state this was in, but it's an awful state. No, but nurses and medics came out to block this blockade, to be like, basically they wanted to do a silent protest against these people. And somebody made this observation with this specific picture that I love, because if you think about it, it's kind of ironic. He's in scrubs and she's hanging out the passenger side of her best friend's ride trying to holler. Isn't that perfect?
It's very clever.
If nothing else, that has come out of this.
That's what I love about the internet, like in crisis, in situations. Like that was horrible. That was like horrific that, you know, these frontline workers are trying to come out and be like, come on, guys.
They're literally like, we'll be treating you next week, you morons.
Like an idiot. And then someone makes a joke out of it. It's good.
It is. It's brilliant.
It's good to laugh.
And speaking of laughing, there's a song that I will never be able to listen to the same again. And when something like this comes along, now it's just completely like, I know this song so well, and now all I can picture is this particular lyric. So the song, right? I'll play you the song first, right? So you're going to know the song is Roger Sanchez, Another Chance, right? So that's the song. But, and I'll show you the screen. So the lyrics of this song are, this was like, the person was like, if the lyrics are not this, then I don't know what's going on. So listening to this song again, right? It's If I Had Another Chance to Love. And then I Fell Into Your Dad with Ainsley Harriott. Now, listen closely, right? Is how I'm going to picture that song, and I'm like, I bloody love that song.
Very good.
Moving on, this girl Justine Stafford, she's an Irish girl, right? And she is like a meme generator. She had some of the funniest memes that have been like put out there online, and what's so heartbreaking is that she'll tweet them, and she's got about 20,000 followers on Twitter, and the people who follow her will all love it, but inevitably someone else will copy it and then get a million likes or retweets. She had one she did where she stood on scales and took a picture of her feet on scales and then superimposed where the weight should be, something along the lines of, doesn't matter what it says here, you're in the middle of a pandemic, like relax.
Okay,
you know.
very good.
And you know, she got a few likes and retweets when she tweeted it, but then someone else
ripped it,
took
put it out,
her actual picture of her actual feet and just put it on their own, and they had like 300,000 likes and retweets. And she's
Didn't
just
that
like,
happen to you before? Didn't you do a meme years ago?
my greatest contribution to the internet, believe it or not, is not this show. My greatest contribution to the internet is a meme that I made before. It was, you might have seen it doing the rounds. It's a picture of a girl on a little bit of a beachfront, and the caption reads, an Irish girl sunbathing. And then at the bottom it says, no, not her, the other one. And there's a girl who's so pasty pale white, she's blending in with the sand. So I made that while sitting on the loo at one point, and just like tweeted it, thought nothing of it. I actually was working on radio at the time, and I put it on the radio station's Facebook page, because you're like, we're just trying to put content up there or whatever. And by the end of my show, it had like 3,000 likes, and I was like, oh my God, this is good.
Yeah.
But the next day it was like 10,000 likes, and it went all over the world.
But
I never watermarked it.
And it comes out every year. Like every summer, I see that on social media.
And people who know I made it will send it to me, be like, there's your meme again.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you're
oh, why didn't I watermark it? I could have been internet famous. But yeah, Justine is like unfortunately falling victim to the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And I saw this guy, another guy who does a lot of funny videos on the internet, ripped off her idea, which was this concept, and this is the original. And it's worth playing. You
just showed it to me earlier, and it's so funny.
It just sums up exactly where we all are right now, right? And this is it.
Lots of luck. Here comes the question.
I have no idea.
It's just so perfect. It's just like, I have no idea. But yeah, so that was, if you see that doing the rounds, and you will see it doing the rounds with other people who've done their versions of it. Justine is the OG, the originator of that. And there's another, like, again, this is where we talk about this the whole time. The internet just springs to life with the funniness, the quirkiness. And Trump was obviously giving a press conference on the lawn of the White House, and it must have been a windy day. And then this person, I just love this person. I'll just play the clip.
Like, to even think of doing that, like,
Is it like?
it's so funny.
Will be, and when you look, so they're going up. I think we're going to be. It's so good.
But how
It's
do
so
they come up with those things? It's like,
just like absolute
so
genius.
good, like, so
Speaking
good.
of genius and speaking of being amazing at things, prepare yourself for the next segment.
I'm like a little bit afraid. I'm like, what are you about to do?
What? Vegetable watch.
Oh. Oh my God.
So I got a bit of grief last week because I put a vegetable patch in the back of the garden without asking. And to be fair, it does just look like a big bit of muck right now.
Yeah.
But it will flourish. And I
We
have
hope.
proof that it will because...
Well, the proof you're about to give is not what's growing in the garden. It's what's growing in the pots that are on currently taking over the kitchen table.
Yeah, because courgettes, you need to grow them indoors for a little while first because they're
Which
kind of...
you didn't
they're
know.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know.
Until after the fact. You should have researched before you dug a hole in the garden.
Yeah, okay, that's true. But we came down
Yes.
this morning
We did.
to discover something pretty special. Ladies and gentlemen, feast your eyes on my baby. Oh my God, they grow up so fast. My babies. My babies. They're huge. They're they're not entirely huge. I mean, just to give you context, that's how big it is right now to the size of a €2 coin. But look, hey, life is happening. We are growing courgettes. And before I know it, hey, I've just thought of something. When I inevitably start an organic vegetable range,
Oh God.
that could be the sponsor of this show.
Courgette.
The organic courgette show.
The courgettis.
The courgettis. We could start a pop band called the Courgettis.
God.
So that is Best of the Web this week.
That was good.
Yeah.
They were good ones.
I enjoyed it. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if literally anybody else enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it. I think it's time to get our guest on, is it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And again, much like we had with Danny last week, this is a one-man band and a great co-host. And you are a great co-host.
I love the way you're going to go. This is a one man. Oh shit, she's sitting right over there. I mean, a two man. No,
I
this is
anticipated
you. You
later
do
on
it.
tonight.
I just show up 10 minutes beforehand, and you tell me what we're going to do. That's what happens. You can
Okay.
take the credit. You can
Okay,
take
thank
the credit.
thank you. I will happily take that credit. So we are going to get our guest on the line now. Boo, boo, boo. Boo, boo. We all know that. Boo, boo. Oh, he's there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was doing a little live video telling people where I was. And I went, oh shit, I gotta go.
How are you, my man? Look, first off, I just have to say, the coolest backdrop. Like, look at how slick that is.
I know, it's
We
so cool.
have IKEA frames that don't have any paintings in
Pictures
them
in
yet.
them.
Pictures in them yet. We just have the frames hung.
Looks like art to me. All I saw is art, and
You're digging it, are you?
I'm intrigued. What's that plant behind you? Is that
Oh,
real or?
Yeah, so this one I bought, this is grown out of a coconut leaf.
That's half dead.
It's half dead right now. Yeah, it's not getting watered as much as it should. And then the one that's behind Debbie was in the hall. But when I was making this little set, I'm like, we need something more. So we're just dressing it with whatever we have around the house.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Yeah,
Why-
I've been getting into my plants now very recently.
You should get a little succulent. Succulents are a great place to start. I did the thing with Dermot Gavin. And he got me into basically planting.
Like, you
and now
think
look
you're
at me.
Mr. Green Fingers.
I'm surprised I have the muck off my fingers right now. But yeah, very cool backdrop. I mean, like, are they platinum?
Yeah. From the 3 albums, some of them are. One of them is Joyland that's a #1 award. So I think I like that one the best because although the other ones sold, more. It's very, very tough nowadays to get #1 in the official charts when you're competing against.
You're competing with like the Justin Biebers of the world and
Yeah.
Lewis Capaldi's and these artists who have huge money and marketing and everything else behind them. So to get that is a huge achievement. And speaking of huge achievements, we just checked the tally. It's
Yeah.
over €133,000 that your track and your foundation that year. I believe it's yourself, Mary, and Doug are behind it all. Are you?
Yeah, it's like me and Doug go way back, and he just sort of rang me one day and said, hear that song, Ordinary Superhero, what you think? And he moves so fast. He's just he was like, right, give me 15 minutes, and he jumps off the phone and off he goes, and calls me back. He said, right, listen, we're doing this. We're trying to get a video and we've no transport. Oh, it was a whirlwind. And then all of a sudden he had Mary Leahy involved. She had gotten donations from Conor McGregor at this stage, but it wasn't public knowledge. And so, yeah, it's just growing and hopefully we can hit the 200,000 mark by Monday.
Which is amazing to think. Like that's a huge amount of money. And we played a bit of the music video and the track earlier on, and again it really does hit home that like these people, these frontline workers, when they're donning their outfit, they're putting on their superhero outfit because they're going to do something pretty pretty special.
Yeah, I'd say it's honestly, I mean, I'd say it's nerve-wracking. We've had some serious quantities of messages from workers. Do you know what? Microphone's fucking down here.
And you work in the music industry, am I right?
I saw you making adjustments. I was like, I'm doing something wrong here. So yeah, we that's probably real loud now, is it?
No, it's perfect.
Great. Yeah, there's just loads of messages from people. We got one message in particular that always stuck with me from a young girl whose mother was a nurse and her dad is a paramedic. So they're going out every day, and this thing just seems, it's so infectious, you know. It's that, like, that must be very, very nerve-wracking. I mean, I'm on the phone to my mother, you know, who's going to the shopping centre, how often he's going, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
And she said to me, my dad, she's like, bleeding dad, he's out there he sees this as a chance to get out of that bleeding house. and I, you know, so she's doing the shopping now. You're staying in, Dooley. I'm going out now. That's it. Once a week with my mask on. Heads down.
But then in terms of actually putting the track together, obviously, you know, you're gifted with the talent of writing great pop tracks. And it's one of those songs, like a lot of your stuff, the first time you hear it, by the time the second chorus or it kicks in before the end, you're singing along as if you know the song, which is it's a real testament to a great radio track like that. But you're on lockdown, so how do you record a song like that? How do you get that together?
I mean, we had it done, but we hadn't the piano version done. We had because the album was called Ordinary Superhero, and that we released that album in October or November. So we had Ordinary Superhero done, which is how Doug heard about it. But when he said it to me and I listened to the song, we always had reservations about the production that we did on it. So I called Glover and said, I mean, look, Glover, you know, is my neighbor anyway. So I just basically said, listen, can you do some work on the piano? So he went away, did the work. The studio is in the apartment at the moment anyway, you know, and then I focused on getting the video done. And yeah, it just happened very quickly. Lockdown wasn't in yet, so we could still kind of move around, but it came in the day after that we actually got the video for it. So
perfect time, and it was all meant to be. Obviously, we're going to put the links up, and then also on our social media channels and your social media channels, obviously, and through Key West Official, you'll find the links to the GoFundMe, and you can, you know, kick anything you can into the pot. 10 or 15, 20 quid, anything at all, it's all going to go towards an incredible, you know, charity and the people that are doing really good things.
You're doing a live show, aren't you?
Yeah, we're starting to do more live. I mean, it was part of the plan anyway. I think a lot of musicians nowadays, especially, you know, for a band like us who like to maintain a lot of control, the internet's the way to go. Yeah. So we had a few hiccups. We started off week one, we had a little setup and it didn't sound great, so we decided we would start using some more studio equipment and you know, we figured that would make things easier. We know how to use the studio. That didn't. We pressed go on Wednesday night, and people on Facebook, they could hear the guitar and the piano, but no microphones. People on Instagram were hearing everything, and we spent 20 minutes going in between. I mean, we were getting messages from people saying, abandon, just do Instagram. So we're getting there.
When it works great, but when it doesn't, it can be catastrophic.
The more quality you want to go after, the more complications you're going to find along the way.
And that's it. And that's it. I mean, that I suppose is a testament also the way you guys operate. You could have just put one microphone beside the camera and got all the room echo noise and everything else, and that would have been grand, but you guys never really accept grand in anything you do. Everything you do is always, look, if we can go to the next level, we'll go there. And we were talking about it briefly as well. The last time we saw you live was your Olympia show where you introduced the drums. And then you have a section that if you get a chance to go see the Key West guys live, when all of this dies down, you were doing a bit yourself and James, who's lead guitar, where you were basically having a battle with him using your vocal cords and his guitar solo. So he'd go like, and then you'd go, it was just like, there's these spine tingling moments in your shows that you seem to consciously create throughout the whole show that, I can't wait for the next live show, whenever it might be. And in the meantime, we'll probably have to make do with seeing you through a laptop screen. And speaking of which, next Sunday, you're doing a festival.
Yeah.
So next Sunday,
essentially, yeah,
8:00, isn't it?
Yeah, it all kicks off then. It's heroesaid.com live, essentially. Yeah, it was great. It was, our manager Mark, he was, dealing with the radio stations, and they just said to him, Beat 102 to 103, Cork Red FM, and iRadio said, because they often work with each other, and they sort of said, listen, let's do something here and try and help get this over the mark. So it's very exciting, and lots of people came on board to take part in it. So it's going to be fun. I mean, it's a tricky task for them doing the whole, streaming from place to place. So, I mean, we're still struggling just going out, so we'll see.
Well, we look forward to it anyway. Listen, Andy, thank you so much for coming on the show and chatting to us. Really appreciate it. And for everything you're doing for the Frontline Heroes is incredible. And I commend yourself, Doug, and Mary. And Doug also, while we're talking about him, has, speaking of a man that moves quickly, he started his own business that will deliver food and anything you need, really. So again, we'll put all those things that you need to everything on our social media channels. Andy, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thanks so much, Andy.
Thanks a million, guys.
Take care.
Cheers. See you
Talk
later.
to you later.
Bye.
Bye. And if you do want to check out more of the Key West guys, their social media is Key West Official.
Yeah.
And in fairness to them, they are really good when it comes to firstly interacting with all their fans.
Yeah, because they started out busking, so they started out in the streets of Ireland,
When you they started out on the streets,
but they but they genuinely did. Like, they were buskers, so they have that interaction with their fan base. Some of their fans, we've seen at their concerts, some of their fans have been following them for years, and they know them by name, they're front and center, and they're chatting to them by name. It's incredible. It's amazing. It really is.
And that concert next week is heroes-aid.com. It's going to be live Sunday, May 3rd, 7 to 9. And you got Key West, Gavin James as well, the two Johnnies. John Gibbons going to be doing a set, Stephanie Rainey, Moncrief, True Tides. This is that's a good festival lineup for a stage, and it's going to be happening
Bank Holiday Sunday.
This is it. You have a few little responsible drinks.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think it's time to move on to. I forgot to press go on the timer, so,
so you don't know what
I'm
time.
I'm looking here, and it says
we're
says
okay.
30.
We're okay.
All right, what time are we at now?
2 minutes left.
Oh, well, you know what? It's almost I shouldn't have said anything then. Just pretended as if I knew that we were exactly on time, because what we're going to move into is Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah. So I don't know how this is going to go, because we just thought of this today as a filler.
So you're going to say we didn't really rehearse, because we rehearse every other element of the show.
Yeah. Well.
Bar cola.
So I just have a piece of paper and a pen. I sent you questions that you have to try and get right of me, and then questions I have to try and get right of you.
So we'll ask the question.
Question marker.
We both write the answer down.
Yeah, so the first lot of questions are based towards me that you have to try and get right. Okay. And then the second lot are based towards you that I have to try and get right. But we both have to write down the answers. But I feel like we should put a challenge to this.
Oh, is in look at the graphic you
whoever
made.
I made that today.
Well done, Deb.
It's a bit up close and personal. But basically we should put a challenge in place. Maybe. So
the loser has to do something.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, what could that be? I mean, what do I not do that you wish I did more of and would do?
Wow. Well, no. What do you want?
Why did you be like, wow? As if there's so much.
Yeah, because you were like, oh, what stuff do I not do? Like, if I do loads.
It was loaded.
Yeah,
it was a loaded question.
Yeah. Everything we use loaded. So what would you like if you won?
Would like 1 hour of tickling of my arms and head scratching.
Okay,
if I win.
fine.
All right?
Yeah, you get that anyway.
I know,
You're
I know.
spoiled.
What would you like if you win?
Well, I'm not going to ask for like a massage or head rub or anything
Oh,
you're
because I
crap at
can't do them apparently. I
Yeah.
touch your head and you're like, it's not.
Yeah, you're so crap at them. Maybe do I don't know, my washing for a week, a month.
A month? Sorry, where did I'm looking for 1 hour of tickling and you want to get your chores done for a month.
Yeah, I don't know what else to pick. Okay, you just have to buy me a surprise.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I'll buy you a
So you just buy
surprise.
me a surprise. Okay.
Okay. So
Let's go. So
all right.
you're doing me first. So these are my
So
what you know about me.
Okay. So questions for Killian. First
so the
one.
first one. So you have to don't write them all down. Just do the first one. We'll hold it up and see if you got
okay,
it right.
well, okay,
and
yeah, we'll
I'll
drag
keep
it out.
scores.
Okay, first question. What is Debbie's shoe size? Okay.
Oh, I didn't do it big enough.
I
Do it
we've
really
not done
big.
It's meant to be a countdown timer. I don't think it's all right. Okay. The question was, what is Debbie's shoe size?
The answer is a 5. Are you actually kidding me?
3.5. You're a 5.
I am not a 5. Never been a shoe size of a 5. I'm a 3.5.
Oh, you are 3.5.
You don't.
Why did I think 5?
So that is a big fat 0 for Killian.
I'm going to pay for this, haven't I? Next question for me. What thing would Debbie save from a fire first? Oh, okay. So there's a fire in the house. You got to grab one thing.
What
Easy.
am I going to grab?
Like, easy. You ready?
Yeah. Yay!
Note that I'd be like literally on fire.
Yeah,
Debbie,
get her
Debbie,
first.
help me. Like, you have a spare hand. You'd be like, no, Belle likes when I use 2 hands to carry. See you later.
So you got 1 mark. What's next?
Okay. Next question is, what does Debbie think the most romantic thing you've ever done for her is? How long do I have?
Just put a brief synopsis of what you think it is.
What do I think is the most romantic? I'm on the... Trying to look, I can't see.
My writing's atrocious, by the way. Quick.
Okay, wait. Is
tick,
it...
tick, 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 tick. Quick. Come on, you're writing an essay.
I can't, I'm just
put
bullet
brief
points.
words.
I hope you can read this now.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. What's it say?
Amsterdam, Gavin James asked you to be my girlfriend.
Yes, well done.
We flew to Amsterdam to go see Gavin James live, and then during Craig, his warm-up act, he was singing what's that song? Only Fools Rush In. And that was the moment I thought we were sitting there and we were up on the balcony, we were watching it. Went, this is lovely. I was just like, I'm really happy now. This is a lovely little life I have. And I asked you to be my girlfriend.
You did. It was very romantic. It all went downhill after
That's
that.
it. I peaked at that point. That was, she was like, oh my God, is this what I'm in for?
Yeah,
like
no,
a
didn't
relationship of
happen.
this. And what's it been like since?
Tumbleweed. Right,
Wow.
okay, come on, next
question.
one.
What item of your clothing does Debbie hate the most? This is too easy. I'll tell you how I know. I had been wearing it up till 20 minutes ago and she went,
Take that off.
yeah.
You wore it on TV this
I
morning.
wore it on air this morning. It's the Hilfiger shirt.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
like awful. I hate it.
It's not awful.
It is.
It
It's
is-
awful. It's awful.
So, can I be very honest? The more I know you hate it, the more I kind of want to wear it.
And
at
you got
times.
matching shorts for it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So you wanted to wear the 2 items together that like just don't go together. Right?
Okay.
Is this the last one?
Last
did you
one.
get that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last question. What's Debbie's bra size? Now or what? Because they've changed over the last.
Oh my God.
they-
Just whatever you think it is.
quarantine boobs are different boobs to pre-quarantine boobs. There's a lot of chocolate and coke in there. I'm going to say, oh, I should know this because we went into Marks and
Yeah, I
Sparks
had to
when
get
you got fitted,
yeah.
and you walked out and you went, oh, I've been wearing the wrong bra
For
my
like,
entire life.
Yeah, the wrong size.
Because you'd be like, I remember you'd be
Like,
like,
two
you were always
sizes
like,
too small.
literally, you were like, oh, my bra's digging, the bra's
And I
always
only have
digging into
little
you,
ones.
and now
Anyway,
Oh God, I hope I get this
Come
right.
on, what is it?
32C.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Did you draw a boob?
No, that's a smiley face.
I thought you draw one of your boobs. Because your nipple looks a bit like that.
Ah, stop. You're putting a horrible taste in the show now. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that because it's between a B and a C.
Okie doke. Now, moving
it.
on. Questions for Debbie about me.
Yeah, God.
Let's see how you get on with this. First question up. What's Killian's favourite car? So I win the lotto tomorrow. I go out to buy my car. What is it? The answer is Porsche Panamera.
Oh, I wrote Lamborghini.
Okay.
I actually wrote Lambo.
Lambo. With alloys and
no
an exhaust. Bomb.
Yeah, but you like so many different cars.
I know, but the Porsche Panamera, you should know, is like, that's one, every time we see one, I'm just like,
But
oh,
like every
get
time we
that
see a
one.
Lamborghini, every time we see a certain
No, every time
Audi,
anyone sees a Lamborghini, you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. It's a Lamborghini by its very nature. Like, oh, that's something different. But Porsche Panamera,
okay,
that's like an achievable. That's like, I actually will at some point have one of those.
you won't.
I will. And there's 4 doors on it. So like, it's not going to be impractical.
Okay, next question.
All right. Next question is, what's Killian's biggest fear?
I don't know if I'm spelling this right.
The answer is vomit.
Squirrels. Oh yeah, I forgot. I said squirrels because
Yeah. When we were in London, and we were walking home from a bar through this lovely leafy suburb, and there was this little squirrel scurried up the road. And initially, Deb was like, "Oh," and I was like, "It's grand, it's a squirrel." And then I got a bit closer, and then I was
he
like,
started to run up your leg.
Yeah, he was like, he's really close, and
you nearly broke my arm. I fell to the ground because you were trying to run. Like you pushed me into the squirrel so that you could save yourself.
No. Okay, let me just... What
No,
happened
that's
was,
exactly what
I tried
happened.
to do that thing where you kind of stamp and go, you know, like...
And you went to
Usually
climb
a
up
squirrel would be like, oh, crap, and go. That squirrel just went, so you got me. And when I extended my leg for this little stamp thing, he came over to my... And I... Maybe, you know... Okay, it might have been the case
You're
that...
afraid of them. But vomit
inevitably-
is your biggest fear. I
Oh,
forgot.
I can't even talk about it. Growing up, we used to have to...
My favourite thing to do with you is to be like, bleh, bleh. And message
Why
him.
is that- why
and
is
he
that
gets
funny?
all serious and goes, you get so serious and you're like, I can't even joke about it. I can't talk to you right now. You get so thick with me.
No, of course I do. It's a fear.
It's the most ridiculous fear.
No, it's not. The worst is when I'm actually sick. Because then when I get sick, my fear kicks in and it triggers another sick because I've been sick. So it's like this cycle of like, oh, go, they're sick.
Okay, let's not talk about it because you will get sick. Okay, next one.
Thanks for bringing that one up. Anyway, the next question.
Yeah, question 3.
Killian's celebrity
There's
crush.
so many of them.
There really is.
All right, steady on.
My current one,
Is
Margot Robbie.
yeah, I got it.
You
right.
better believe it.
Killian actually thinks he asked me for a pass because he does believe someday he is going to be able to meet her. What makes you think she'd be interested in you?
I'm not saying she definitely will. I just would. It would be nice to know that if for some reason there happens to be a situation we're out and she's like, oh,